friends, denizens of the internet. Hello, welcome back to a new series over here at Lost Time Gaming. Today, something special is on our radars. If you recognize the name of this game, it'll be because we did a no, I was gonna say that we did a Halloween Let's Play bonus episode for it last year, I want to say, for the all the Halloween bonus content I put out. This was one of the games that came from the Haunted PS1 demo disc, I believe, and this was an indie game that as soon as I played that demo, I went on to Steam and wishlisted it and figured, maybe someday, a couple of years down the road, it'll come out. Not to besmirch the creator and the workers of this game, but just, indie games tend to take a lot more time because they have a lot less money and so on and so forth. So, this is Heartworm. Heartworm is a kind of love letter to the survival horror games of old, and it's really awesome. A long story short, it's a lot of fun, and we're just going to get into it because there's no sense in me yammering on about it. And thankfully, because the era we live in, we get stuff like, hey, do you want this to look old? Like, do you want it to look old and crappy? Like you're playing it right on a PS1? It's like, no, I don't. Like, I'd rather it look nice. And you can have crappy tank controls because they're just awful. I'm so glad gaming eventually moved away from tank controls. Or you can have just regular camera-related controls, and same thing with the camera as well. You can just have it like Resident Evil style, where there's no visual adjustment at all for taking aiming, or you can actually have an over-the-shoulder look when you aim at stuff. Great stuff. But yeah, we're gonna go full modern on this bad boy. Not that there isn't a place for like scan lines and retro graphics, but I kind of grew up with that thing. I don't need a throwback to it. Oh, sorry.
Hey, sorry you haven't heard from me in a while. I've been busy trying to find out about this place. You're not gonna believe me, and I don't even know if I really believe it myself, but I guess a part of me must, because I'm going. It's far, on an abandoned road, a few miles from that power plant in the mountains. It was hard to find anything about it. I started on message boards, and I ended up in a chat room talking with people who know people who know people who've gone. They said a lot of crazy stuff, but the one thing that they all agreed on is that in that house, there's a room that can take you to the other side, to see the people that you've lost again. The thing is, no one who's gone has ever come back, and that's why I'm writing you. Not for advice, not to get you to talk me out of going. Actually, by the time you read this, I'll already be there. I just wanted to let you know, in case I don't come back. That way you won't be wondering where I've gone. Either way, you don't have to worry about me anymore. I'm sorry, but I don't have any other choice. I just can't keep going on not knowing.
Survival guide. Movement. Left stick moves you around. You could run by holding the left button, also known as look down X, while moving forward. If you're using mono controls, you will always run in the joystick. Yep, yeah, that all makes sense. Survival guide interaction equipment. You can interact with many items by pressing X, or no, by pressing A. Some will stand out more than others. You can equip or use some items you find, such as your camera. After you've picked it up, you can equip it, yada yada. We've done this song and dance countless times before. Will you take the camera? Yes, obviously. See, examine a 35mm SLR camera. It was my grandfather's. Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore. Let's equip that bad boy. Boom. Okay, and this is film, I assume? 35mm film, yep. I haven't used a film camera in a long time. Long time. What is this? Cigarettes? I really need to quit. Yeah, you do. It's in the back here. Oh, we can change the outfit. That's fun, but that's kind of Resident Evil 3, or no, Resident Evil 2 with the boutique key. Or is that Resident Evil 3? It's been a while. I don't need anything else from the car. Okay. It's kind of, oh, look at that. That's nice. See, we wouldn't be able to do that if we were using the old school system. Alright. Now, I played this for a little bit on my own, just...
Sometimes I wonder if I spend more time thinking about death than the average person. My grandfather died a while back. I know it happens to everyone, but it almost feels like I'm obsessed. It's frustrating. No matter what I try, my thoughts always circle back to the one thing I can't control: my own mortality. I came all the way out here not knowing if I'll get the answers I need. I just hope it's worth it.
I lost my train of thought there. I was just making sure to not talk over the voiceover. There's something hauntingly beautiful about a modern game using this retro aesthetic. This looks like it was once a lovely house and not so much anymore. We got around the side here. Pile of wood, looks like it's been there for years. Oh, what I was going to say is I played this game for a little bit just to see if it started off in the same place the demo did or anything like that. But no, this seems like it's going to be its whole, like the totally separate from the demo, and well, maybe at some point the thing that occurs in the demo will occur here, but not, it hadn't in the little bit that I played. It's solidly blocked off. Not getting in here. Okay. The only gripe that I can have about this game that I had in the little time I played it is, so this game uses static camera angles, as you can see, like character moves, the camera does not. Now I could always, of course, look, and then, you know, we can see where we're going there, but letting this go, zoop, zooms out to the static camera angle. When you change camera angles like there, it doesn't do like if you were to play Resident Evil 0, this would make more sense, like the modernized updated version. When you change cameras, it doesn't remember what the direction you're facing is relative to the new camera. Blocked. Notice condemned. So sometimes when you change a camera, you're holding right. If you like let go of that and attempt to reorient yourself to go forward in the new camera, it's gonna give you a little, throw you for a loop sometimes and like cause you to do a little spin-a-rooney. Diary. Pleasure Beach 1. Ooh, alright. I finally went to explore Pleasure Beach today. It's been on my list forever, and the forecast was perfect. But unsurprisingly, I ended up in over my head. When I got there, everything was pretty normal. There were folks on the shore having a picnic, enjoying the beautiful summer day, and the usual kids messing around on the playground across the street. I grabbed my camera, locked my car, and started making my way across the land bridge. It took maybe 30 minutes to cross, longer than I expected. The island seemed to be completely empty, so I began searching through the abandoned homes, confident in my solitude. So many of them were destroyed, roofs and walls collapsed from years of disregard, some houses so decrepit I couldn't even enter. But there really was just enough left that I began to really feel bad for these people. They had no time to pack and leave. Family photos were strewn across floors, and belongings were still packed in drawers. I even saw a table that looked like it had been set for dinner however many years ago. My sympathy turned into suspicion as I ventured further. Many of the houses had the same red graffiti in their attics, markings and symbols I had never seen before. I assumed it was just from kids messing around, but something about it began to trigger my paranoia. I noticed the sun was setting as I reached the end of the residential area. It was strange. I could have sworn it had only been a couple of hours. The last time I checked my watch, it was before noon, but now the clock read 7:30 p.m. I brushed it off as just losing track of time. It was frustrating. I hadn't even gotten to half the town, but I knew I had to head back. The land bridge would be submerged soon, if it wasn't already. Sure enough, as I turned the corner to where I had entered earlier, I was greeted by nothing but the sea. The entire land bridge was underwater. I was stuck and alone. Or so I thought. Ooh, creepy. Also, I don't know, is that a real place or is that just something for the sake of this game? Kind of like that. It's like, just take a little roundabout turn around there. Oh, that's Doc. Oh boy. Survival guide. Flash. Some areas are too dark to see without help. You can use the camera flash without consuming ammo by not aiming and pressing. Okay, never mind. So I believe that's this. How long does that last? About that long. Okay, well, that's disturbing. That's not going to scare the crap out of us at some point. Diary, Pleasure Beach 2. It was darker than any night I could remember. The island was far enough offshore that there was no light pollution, and in almost no time I was wandering in pitch blackness. It was cold, too. The breeze coming over the water contrasted heavily with the mild weather earlier that day. I didn't have much of a plan, but I knew that if I was stuck, I would have to find a place to stay warm. I made my way back to the houses, which were much, much more terrifying in the night. I turned to look down the street and froze mid-step. I could barely see due to the lack of light, but it looked like another person was standing there, right in the middle of the street, staring at me, motionless. I tried to rationalize, but in the situation my sanity was already being tested. I called out to them with a strained, "Hello?" praying to God that it was just some teenager and not whatever nightmare my mind was conjuring. No response. No movement. Nothing. I looked around and noticed some of the windows in the attics of the houses looked like there was dim light coming from them. Candles, maybe? But I had been here all day. I didn't see anyone. It didn't make any sense. As every possible scenario, none of which seemed to end well for me, raced through my mind, one rational thought broke through and reminded me. I had my camera. I could trigger the flash on demand without using the little film I had left to illuminate my surroundings. I was so scared I almost didn't want to. What if there really was something there and using my camera would only alert it to my presence? Finally, I pressed the flash trigger. Everything around me lit up, and I saw nothing. The figure in the road was gone. The light coming from the windows, gone. It was just a silent, long dead town, and me. The rest of the night was uneventful. I used my camera flash to navigate the ruins, found the closest house with 4 intact walls, locked the door to one of the bedrooms, and fell asleep against the wall. I woke up the next morning and booked it back across the land bridge. I don't think I'll be going back to Pleasure Beach. Yeah, that sounds about right. I would probably do the same. Wooked. Wooked? What if we're hooked? Or maybe jucked? Or rucked? Or nucked? Or tucked? But what about whacked? I know a couple of 4-letter words, but I don't think they're going to be of any use to us here. What can we spell, though? I don't know. Oh, and there's no button to push, so I can't force this. It'll just work when it works, kind of deal. Yeah. Yep, don't know the answer to that, so let's mosey on. More doors downstairs, apparently. That's a lit cigarette. Narcissus and Goldmund, Hermann Hesse. He thought that all men trickled away, changing constantly, till they finally dissolved, while the artist created images remained unchangeably the same. He thought that the fear of death was perhaps the root of all art, perhaps also of all things of the mind. We fear death. We shudder at life's instability. We grieve to see the flowers wilt again and again, and the leaves fall, and in our hearts we know that we too are transitory, and will search for laws and formulate thoughts. It is in order to salvage something from the great dance of death, to make something that lasts longer than we do. Perhaps the woman after whom the master shaped his beautiful Madonna is already wilted or dead, and soon he, too, will be dead. Others will live in his house and eat at his table, but his work will still be standing hundreds of years from now and longer. It will go on shimmering in the quiet cloister church, unchangingly beautiful, forever smiling, with the same sad, flowering mouth. Okay, this is great, I guess. We're like 10 minutes behind somebody. Survival guide, boxes. Oh yeah, I want to say we get Resident Evil style save boxes, right? Nice. They're all connected and can hold pretty much anything. Well, guess what, cigarettes? Welcome to the storage bin. I don't know why there's film in here, but we're taking it. What about this? Would you like to save your progress? Yes. That was the little bit I had played to just kind of mess around and make sure this was totally devoid of what we had seen previously. Shelves are stocked. Almost anything you can want to read is here. Really? Do they have back issues of GamePro magazine from like 1995? Because I'd love to read some of those. No, just books. Okay, more old books. Seems like that was the only thing on the desk too. Can interact with this like cello? What is this? No, it's just that again. Okay. The old Resident Evil style door opening, which is a double-edged sword. As much as it's nostalgia for me, a lot of modern gamers hate that. The Resident Evil door transitions. I don't like this camera. Then oh, hey, there we go. Yeah, you see how right there, like, we're facing down, right? And I hit down, but because it was still referencing the last camera shot, we went to the right hard. Nothing particularly noteworthy. Oh, geez, that's way better. Okay. Nothing particularly noteworthy. Oh, hey, okay, that turned into, like, tentacles and vanished. Yeah, I'm sure that's fine. That's no big deal. Nothing back here. The backyard is completely overgrown. Yeah. Looks like. Oh, here we go. It. Father's Journal 1. I finally put the pieces together the day you asked where John was. At first I was confused, thinking maybe you forgot his exact address and wanted to send a letter. I laughed and replied the address of the home of our son had been living in for the past 2 years with his wife and our new grandchild. I will never forget the look you gave me. Perplexed and confused, you asked, "What is he doing there?" When I told you that he moved there for his job, the expression on your face darkened. I could tell you that something wasn't adding up for you, but you just slowly shook your head and walked away. How could you forget that? I knew we were both getting on in years. Forgetting little things was understandable, but we had gone to meet our granddaughter only months ago. I wanted to believe it was just a momentary confusion. To this day, I still wish I was right. So this game's dealing with some heavy subjects right out the door. We've got, you know, loss and dealing with loss, death, the necessity of death to make us fear, to cause us to be more creative. And now we've got parental dementia, old age dementia, causing your parents to forget who they are and their children. Super sad stuff when that happens. Thankfully I haven't had to do that yet, or deal with that yet. I'll never forget when my great-grandmother, you couldn't pay me to open this fridge, not my first rodeo. My great-grandmother got old. She was in a nursing home, and while she was always sharp as a tack, cabinets have rotten food scattered throughout them. The lady that was in the room across from her was not. And some days she would be lucid and friendly. Oh, hi, how you doing? You know, nice to meet you. I'm so-and-so. Have a lovely, bubbly personality. And then some days she wouldn't know my great-grandmother, you know, who she spent a lot of time with, let alone, you know, us when we would visit. And it was one of those things that, like, a younger me just didn't understand any of that. It's kind of hard to understand. What was that? Oh. Loud, extra loud clock. Bandage, yes. Survival guide combining. Select an item in your inventory, choose combine from the context menu. Select the second item to combine it with. Bandages and antiseptic will make a first aid kit. Okay. I can dig that. I like combining stuff. It makes me feel good. Yes. That's not how first aid kits work, but you know what? By gosh, we're gonna let it slide. Nothing else in here seems to be of any importance. But like, if you look, like, look at this box on the left here, on this table or whatever it is. It's like the yellowish part is reacting almost, but it's really just the. I would assume that's the game trying to low res it is causing that. Just some dining ware. What about in here? What is this? What the heck is this? I think this is the front door. It won't budge. Oh, okay. So that's where we should have came in, but didn't. What's in here? I'm totally lost already. Only took like 3 rooms, but I'm lost, baby. Yeah, this room's a mess. Why is this room a mess? This room is a mess. Most of the books are destroyed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But why, though? Father's journal, too. Oh, boy. This probably isn't going to get any better. We went to see a doctor today. At last. It's hard to make it all the way out to the city. When we were younger, it seemed like such a charming idea to have a house so isolated. It was our own little world. Now just getting groceries in town is a hassle. I made the appointment and made sure you were ready to go. I could tell you didn't know why we had to. You didn't think anything was wrong. I've always had my head in the clouds. I'm fine. You're overreacting. You would tell me over and over. I didn't even want to think about whether you remembered the reason why this was necessary. We're waiting on the scan results now, but based on how you were with the doctor, I'm not hopeful. You had trouble answering his questions and kept looking to me for answers. God, why is this happening so fast? I held your hand over the stick shift as I drove home while you cried softly to yourself. I can't help but hate myself for thinking it, but I think we're close to the end. How did this happen so quickly? Only months ago, the sounds of your singing filled the house as you tidied up, did the dishes, cooked us dinner. Now you barely get out of bed. Something inside of you has broken. Half the time you look at me and see a stranger, but you won't acknowledge it. You just turn over in the bed and try to go back to sleep. I wonder what you dream of. I hope it's of the last fragments of our beautiful life together. Alright, well, that's pretty freaking terrible. And, dark fate. You know, when people say there's fates worse than death, that's on that list. What's in here? Anything? No, good. Just giving me depression. Thanks, game. Before the game, there was a splash card that said some parts of this game may be considered violent or cruel. So, you know, poo on me for thinking the game was bluffing. The painting looks like it would disintegrate if I touched it. Yeah, maybe don't touch it then, eh? What about this door? Oh, it's a lovely bathroom. That didn't make it any lovelier. Surprised to see a mostly intact mirror. Yeah, no punks have been in here yet. Yeah, another antiseptic. I guess, yeah, we'll take that. Why not? Another thing I'm not doing, opening the shower curtain. Yeah, that's probably for the best. How about the toilet? Nothing in this world could convince me to use the bathroom here. Yeah, I don't know. Once you've had to go out in the middle of the woods, you know, the lines become pretty blurry on what necessitates a toilet. I have a story for that, but it's a little too gross, so we won't be sharing it here. But suffice to say, sometimes when you gotta go, you gotta go. Survival guide map. You can access the map from your inventory or by pressing back. New areas you enter are automatically tracked, and you can gauge their level of completion based on the amount of static covering them. There's still static over the room. There's more to be done there. Oh, that's cool. They kind of added that in like a Resident Evil 2, the remake for Resident Evil 2. Alright, well, we haven't done anything in here, so how do we go down a floor? Boom. Whoa. Not that. So it looks like we missed stuff in the dining room and the foyer downstairs. Unpleasant. Okay. I don't want to go in the open room just yet. So let's start back. Let's start in the furthest from the steps. Oh boy. This sounds like it's going to get even better. That's not depressing music at all. Bedroom poem. Only a few days to notice how you used to be. The changes were minor at first. Forgetting your ring, leaving your keys, staring into nothing, like you knew it was coming. And I saw it all too late. The bed you were buried in, trying not to be seen. Ghosts in white coats. What a terrible thing. Strangers' goodbyes, dreams of hearing you sing. The hour burns forever. 12:15. Well, I've never seen anyone rhyme with a time on a clock before, but that was pretty good. Also, again, very sad. Just awful. But 12:15, if we need to set a time somewhere, that's what we're looking for. Another thing I care about in these drawers. I still need to stress the fact that we saw a fully functioning study with a lit cigarette. Lit cigarette will only last for about 10 minutes or so unattended. Locked. Actually, as an ex-smoker, I know for a fact that modern cigarettes contain 2 strips of fire-safe paper. So they actually go out halfway through, and once at the filter as well. There's a hatch at the top of the ladder, but it won't open. Oh, okay. So I actually know that a cigarette will go out halfway through before, instead of just smoldering in an ashtray. So that would only be about 7 minutes. So like literally we were minutes behind somebody being in this house. And not just being in this house, but like chillaxing in a lavish study, smoking and reading books. And just, they're gone now. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Alright, but I want to say we're going to cut back through here, because that is about all the time I have for today's episode. That being said, really looking forward to doing more of this, just to keep you updated. I have been slowly but surely making progress on Silent Hill 2, and I don't think I've said anything about this yet, but not Silent Hill, Outlast 2. That save was also lost when all the other saves I had were lost, and there was no way to skip ahead in that game. So while Silent Hill 2 I've been making progress on, and we will see that again in the, much sooner than later, Outlast 2 was going to be some time before we see the conclusion of that, mostly because I have to replay through the entire game again, and we were much closer to the end of Outlast 2 than we were Silent Hill 2. So just to keep an update on that. So we're gonna have Crow Country and Heartworm until Silent Hill 2 comes back, and then once that's done, we can look towards getting Outlast 2 back to where it needs to be. So that being said, that's all the time I have for the episode today. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, and get subscribed. Let me know down in the comment section below what you thought about my gameplay, my commentary, or anything else in general. That being said, thanks for watching, and as usual, I'll catch you all on the flip side.